Good morning, happy Thursday. It's Daryl here. I was in my middle of my workout. I was listening to a few different videos on while I work out. I listened to videos on drug addiction. Then I was listening to ones on homelessness. I came across. I always like to not like, but I find it informational to see how Fox News presents a lot of their stories. I don't agree with it, but I like to. It's always good to get into the mindset of the people that I don't agree with. I find that helpful, if you're going to communicate with people. So they talked about one of the favorite topics of Republicans, Fox News, Trumpers, is talking about California and its horrible failure as being having a Democrat majority mostly here, through the cities and whatnot and the governors. And I watched a video on San Francisco and the homelessness there. What I do know, I know that San Francisco has some of the highest land prices, cost of living costs in the United States by far. So what you have is people that are being priced out of their rents, out of their possibility of buying anything there. You have people that are trying to make money off the high price of this land, and that's, I think, where you're creating a lot of the people with homelessness. Don't get me wrong, that's just a part of it. And then this is why I'm making the video: drug addiction. Drug addiction, huge freaking problem. Take it from an ex-addict. Until you'll never solve the problem of drug addiction, I don't think, but until you start working on it, start addressing it, start treating it, you can't even begin to work on the other problems of homelessness, of crime, over jail overpopulation. This video talked about, of course, the Fox News, it demonized it made it sound like just since Democrats came to power, everything went to hell. They were saying that Fox News is basically saying that Democrats have made it possible now for addicts to shit on the streets and shoot up everywhere. They're to blame. They're the evil. They actually went as far as to say that they're busing people in to dropping them off in San Francisco. Again, it's a big part of the problem I see here in San Francisco is drug addiction. You need to get treatment. When you lock somebody up in jail, and I've never been to prison, but I believe there's very little in the way of help. I think when you put a user into the prison system, what you're going to get out is just a better user, a person more skilled at scams, at stealing, have more drug connections. Seriously, that's what you're going to get. You put a drug addict in there, and that's what you're going to get out. You're going to get a worse product. The person being, the drug addict being the product. You're gonna get a more dangerous, more addicted addict. They talk about free needles and some of the stuff like that. What I think I understand this to be is a way of drawing an addict in. Addicts don't, their primary concern is getting their drug, of course. So it's hard to get in their realm, into their life, to start presenting them with options, to start talking to them and getting them to admit it's not working. So you need to get into their life. You need to break in there and get a foothold into their addicted world. And I think this is the way they do it. By having the addict come and get a needle. No, it's not a good idea, of course. Handing out drug paraphernalia, not a first option, of course. But now you're getting interaction with the addict, and that's important. That's crucially important. I remember being an addict, and in general, when you're in full-blown addiction, you are not happy with it's not a party. You're not happy. all you're thinking about is trying to stay well at that point. You know you screwed up. You know you got a big problem, but you don't know what to do about it. You've lost hope. By giving away these needles and programs like that, you're getting a foothold in their world. They have to come to you for something. And in that way, you could just, if you could just get a foothold. And because these people, they want to talk to somebody. They want to admit they have a problem. They're scared. They're scared of the change. They're scared of getting sick. But by getting this foothold, I really think it's a good way to start working your way into their world to get them into treatment. Otherwise, if you act in an adversary manner, like law enforcement, somebody that's going to take away their drugs, yeah, they're going to avoid you with everything they have, and that's not going to solve the problem. You need to come at it from a different, and a lot of these, giving out needles is not a very palatable idea, even to me. It's not, something you really want to do, but I think it works. Again, the idea is to open a dialogue with the addict. Like I said, I was an addict for 25 years, and I was miserable. I didn't want to be where I was, but it was too, if you realize you screwed up and it's too late. Your body, your mind, you're completely, at the mercy of the drug at this point. You lost hope. But, and I think a lot of these people are just, I was dying for somebody to I wouldn't have admitted it then, but I was dying for somebody to present me with an option, a dialogue. I was miserable. I wanted to die, suicide attempts. That's how miserable I was. So the thought of somebody offering me an option, any kind of dialogue would have been, of course, addicts are very cautious. It would take a while, but it's a good way to go. I don't know. Some of the other things you can't really get into homelessness until you really take a good look at mental health and drug addiction. You can't get an addict into an apartment because obviously it's not going to work. The addict's going to lose the apartment. You can't even talk about a lot of these, anything else. That's what they teach us too. A lot of addicts initially will say they don't want to get into treatment. They have important stuff they got to take care of, their animals, their pets, their families, important stuff coming up. And even with me, they keep pounding it, meaning the people that are trying to help you or the ex-addicts will tell you, the most important thing is treating your addiction at this moment. You can't, nothing else, you can't do anything else until you take care of that. That's problem number one. Like with me in recovery, staying clean is the most important thing in my life above everything else, because without that, I lose everything else. So therefore, it has to be the most important thing in my life. So this video, I was going to talk more about homelessness and some ideas. You see Jimmy Carter with Homes for Habitat, and I was thinking about even, not to sound insensitive, but shipping containers. I see these great little homes being made from these very innovative little homes made from shipping containers, and I started thinking about people, helping to work on their own housing, and that would require land. Just some ideas I was throwing around, but as you can see, I got sidetracked with the talk of drugs, and again, you kind of have to, because until you solve the mental health aspects, the drug addiction in San Francisco and anywhere else, until you work on that one problem, it's pointless. It is pointless, really. If you talking about these people shooting up or defecating or the homelessness, those are all results of the drug addiction. So until you start treatment and start facing that problem of the drug addiction, or anything else is pointless. Just my thought for today. All right, you guys have a good day.